Hey folks, Gway. The Lieutenant Governor for Idaho, Janice McGeehan, was interviewed. And in her interview, she was talking about standing up for the rights of people, standing up for the rights of Christians, standing up for the rights of conservatives, standing up against all the boogeymen that the right seem to be conjuring up for us to embrace. And she said, God tells us to take up the sword and fight, and that Christ will reign in Idaho. I'm not entirely certain if she's talking about the creation of a theocracy, a state where theology, a particular theology, a particular brand of Christian theology is their guiding principle, or if she just means Christ will, the teachings of Christ will reign in the law. Now, I've done a video a long time ago about what it would mean for us to have a Christian state, a Christian nation. That those people who cry the loudest for a Christian state or a Christian nation are probably going to be really disappointed with what that would truly look like, because Christ clearly in the Gospels tells us to serve, tells us to give, tells us to be charitable, to be merciful, to be forgiving, tells us to love even our enemies, tells us to provide for those who need provision, even if their need for provision is their own fault. Jesus tells us to offer ourselves to the world in a radically loving way. So if Lieutenant Governor McGeehan is asking for that kind of state, influenced truly by the teachings of Jesus Christ that call us to love and forgive and to be charitable and to be merciful and to support and encourage and empower the most vulnerable in our societies, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm all for it. My fear is that what she's actually saying is something else. That this is just a person who is pandering to the conservative right, the Christians on the conservative right, who desperately want to hear that their state will be a Christian state, in the sense that it will be welcoming to certain people, it will be theocratic in its nature, that all the laws will be based around Old Testament principles and teachings, that those things that they are most afraid of will be trampled underfoot. Those rights and liberties that they don't appreciate others having will be trampled underfoot. It's important for the church to continuously remember that Jesus never wanted a state. Jesus never wanted a nation. Jesus never wanted a country. Jesus never wanted a province. Jesus never wanted a kingdom. Jesus never wanted an empire here on earth. If Jesus had wanted those things, Jesus could have had those things. Not only did the devil literally tempt him with that possibility, right? Not only did the devil come to him and say, if you bow down to me, I will give you everything that you see around you. Every kingdom on this planet will bow before you. You will rule them. You will govern them. You will be there all. Just bow down to me. And Jesus, of course, says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm supposed to bow down to God. So not only did Satan tempt him with this very thing, that I will give you a state, a province, I will give them all to you, God would have given them to him if Jesus had asked. Jesus' kingdom is not of this world. His nation is not of this world. His empire is not of this world. His province, his state is not of this world. Jesus' kingdom, empire, Jesus' place is in our hearts. That's where Jesus seeks to reign, in our individual hearts. That's where Jesus seeks to be an influence. That's where Jesus seeks to speak. That's where Jesus seeks to be the one we turn to. That's where Jesus seeks to be the one in control. It's inside of us, inside of our hearts, seen in the world through our actions and heard through our words. Because if Jesus reigns there in our individual hearts, then Jesus reigns in our groups. And if Jesus reigns in our groups, then Jesus reigns in our community. But not in that way that we will take away other people's rights or force other people to live like we do. But rather in that really cool, awesome way where Christians act like the Christians Jesus calls us to be. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. I pray that we will let Jesus reign where Jesus always wanted to reign. That we will not ever try to force Jesus upon others. We will force others to live as we believe Jesus is calling us to live. So that's not where he wants to be. It's not how he wants to be known. Amen. Numultus.